Ambassador Zixthar had made a terrible mistake. The Voluvian diplomat had reviewed Earth's gravitational specifications countless times before his shuttle descended through the atmosphere. Fransungu, the standard measurement, meant nothing to him intellectually. His homeworld of Voluvia maintained a comfortable 0.4 G, and even the heavy world stations he'd visited for diplomatic conferences never exceeded 0.7 G. How different could it be? The answer, he discovered as he stepped off the landing platform at Seattle Spaceport, was catastrophic. His legs buckled immediately. The pressure crushed down on his thorax like an invisible avalanche. His breathing apparatus wheezed, struggling to pull oxygen through airways that suddenly felt compressed to half their normal diameter. Zixthar's four eyes blurred with panic as his knees, joints that had carried him proudly through 40 cycles of diplomatic service, simply gave up. He crumpled onto the concrete, his ornate ambassador's robes pooling around him like a deflated sail. Around him, humans passed by with barely a glance. They walked upright, effortlessly, as if the crushing weight that had brought him low didn't exist at all. His translator chip picked up fragments of their conversations, complaints about weather, discussions of lunch plans, laughter. How were they laughing? How were they even standing? Zixthar tried to call for help, but his voice came out as a weak whistle. His dignity, carefully cultivated over decades, evaporated. He was the Voluvian Empire's foremost expert on human culture, and he couldn't even make it 10 meters from his shuttle. Then she appeared. The human was young, perhaps in her mid-teens by their strange aging standards. She wore what his cultural database identified as athletic clothing, synthetic shorts, a bright tank top, and elaborate cushioned shoes. White cords trailed from her ears to a device strapped to her upper arm. She'd been running, her brown skin glistening with perspiration, her black hair pulled back in a functional tail. She slowed when she saw him jogging in place for a moment. Then she pulled the white cords from her ears and crouched down beside him. "Hey, you okay?" Her voice was higher pitched than the adult humans he'd studied in videos, but carried genuine concern. Zixthar managed a weak gesture with one manipulator appendage. "Gravity. Too strong." The girl's eyes widened with understanding. "Oh, you're one of the new aliens. The Vel something, right?" She didn't wait for confirmation. "Okay, hang on." What happened next would haunt Zixthar's understanding of human physiology for the rest of his life. The girl simply reached down and picked him up, not with both arms, straining against his weight, not with mechanical assistance or anti-gravity technology. She hooked one arm, just one, under his midsection and lifted him as easily as one might carry a bag of produce. His entire body, which felt as heavy as a collapsed star under Earth's gravity, rested in the crook of her elbow. Then she started jogging again. "I'm Maya, by the way," she said conversationally, as if she weren't carrying a full-grown alien ambassador while running. "Where were you headed?" Zixthar's translator struggled to keep up with his racing thoughts. The United Nations. Liaison office. Oh, that's like 6 blocks from here." "No problem, no problem." She said it with such casual confidence that Zixthar felt a primal fear stir in his consciousness. His species had evolved on a world where predators were rare, and strength was measured in diplomatic cunning, not physical power. This child, this human child who hadn't even reached full maturity, was carrying him through a gravity well that had instantly incapacitated him, and she was barely winded. She adjusted her grip slightly, bringing him a bit higher so his head wasn't bouncing against her hip. "Sorry if this is uncomfortable. I'm on the track team, so I'm used to carrying weights when I run, but you're kind of a weird shape." You train by carrying additional mass?" Zixthar wheezed. "Sure. Coach has us do weighted runs twice a week. Build strength and endurance." She hopped over a curb without breaking stride. "Is your planet's gravity a lot lighter?" "0.4. Maya whistled, a purely human expression of surprise. "Wow. So this must feel like you're carrying 2.5 of yourself around. That sucks. Such a simple phrase for the crushing, existential dread Zixthar was experiencing. His people had spent the last century making first contact with various species, establishing themselves as cultured, sophisticated diplomats. They'd joined the Galactic Council, negotiated treaties, and prided themselves on their intellectual superiority over more primitive species. And now he understood. They'd never encountered humanity because humans had been right here, evolving in a gravity well that would serve as a prison planet for most council species. "Here we are." Maya slowed to a walk and gently set Zixthar down in front of a building marked with the UN insignia. She kept one hand on his back to steady him. There should be people inside who can help you.
Maybe get you a gravity suit or something?
Zixthar managed to focus his eyes on her face. She was smiling, that uniquely human expression that showed teeth which should have been threatening but somehow conveyed warmth. You saved my life, he managed. Maya shrugged. Another gesture that in any other species might indicate dismissal, but in humans somehow meant humble acknowledgement. No big deal. Welcome to Earth. She replaced the white cords in her ears and jogged away, disappearing into the flow of human pedestrian traffic. Just another human, going about her day completely unaware that she'd just redefined Zixthar's understanding of what was possible. As UN staffers rushed out to help him, bringing the promised gravity assistance suit, Zixthar made a mental note. His report to the Veluvian Council would need significant revisions, particularly the section that classified humans as physically unremarkable. Because if their children could do that casually, what were their soldiers capable of? The galaxy, Zixthar realized with creeping certainty, had severely underestimated Earth.